This is the Gerry Callahan Show.
You know, I didn't think it could possibly get any better. We watched yesterday morning as the USA defeated Canada, yes, on the 46th anniversary of their gold medal upset of the Soviet Union. They defeated another communist regime in a big upset, I have to say. I watched the whole game, and Canada is better. Yes, Nathan McKinnon, you're right. You're better. Why does that matter? Who cares? You lost. That's shame on you if you lost to an inferior team in overtime, in 3-on-3 hockey in overtime. This great American, Jack Hughes, scored the game winner, the gold medal winner. The celebration, the ensuing celebration was just fantastic. I would rank this among the top, 3, 4, 5 sporting events I've ever watched. It was hockey, and some people don't like hockey, but as I've explained many times, when the pressure is at its highest, the sport doesn't really matter. The people, the performers, that's what matters. That's why the Masters is such a great sporting event, the Ryder Cup. It's golf, yeah, but it's not about the sport. It's about the players. It's about the pressure and who comes through in the clutch and what their legacy will be. And this guy right here, Jack Hughes, just cemented himself into history. This photo you're looking at is one of the most iconic sports photos that's ever been taken. You will see this for the rest of your life, and you'll smile just like he's smiling, that toothless, bloody smile. This picture is perfect, and the celebration was perfect. It was just so human and genuine, and I don't think I've ever seen a more emotional moment than when the players took Johnny Gaudreau, the late Johnny Gaudreau's 2 kids, Noah and Johnny Jr., out onto the ice. Just remarkable theater. Just so why wasn't everybody in the country watching? This was just such a great show. And as I said, I didn't think it could get any better, but I knew what was coming. I knew the left would melt down, get triggered. I knew there would be certain people out there like Jamel Hill and others who would be upset by this great show of patriotism. There is the photo. Man, I got choked up watching this. I don't know how Mike Tirico kept it together, but he did. Watching the players bring the Gaudreau kids in the Gaudreau jersey out onto the ice, and just look at the smiles. I've never seen such jubilation, such joy. And then came the locker room celebration, and the beer was flowing, and the songs were playing, and Donald Trump called in, and this made my night. Trump calls in and tells them they're all invited to the State of the Union. He's going to find a way to get them through this storm, get them through the snow, and get them to D.C. for the State of the Union tomorrow night. I don't know how many will show. I'm pretty sure Jack Hughes will be there, and maybe all of them. Maybe all of them. Who knows? Maybe Hellebuck, Connor, Ulol's own, will be there. He'll get the biggest ovation. What will the Democrats do? Will they sit on their hands? Will they not show up? Many of them are boycotting. Someone asked, is there room for this whole team and the coaches and the assistants? And yes, there is room, because the Democrats are boycotting. They should let these guys sit in their seats right down on the floor there. Put them in the front row. These guys are American heroes, and not just because they defeated the evil regime up north, but because the way they reacted, it was so genuine. It was so refreshing. This is what we want out of our Olympic stars. We want this. We need this. In a world full of Megan Rapinos, be Jack Hughes, as somebody said so perfectly. Be Jack Hughes. Be one of these great Americans. There he is, Jack Hughes, and there is Megan Rapinoe taking a knee. Hell, be Jack Hughes. Don't be Hunter Hess, that whatever he is, skier. I don't even know. Is he? What sport is Hunter Hess? One of these stupid, ski jumpers? I don't know. But we heard from a handful of Olympians who just weren't happy to be representing the United States And by the way, getting paid and getting pampered and treated like gods because they get on skis and they jump in the air and they badmouth their own country. Here is this Hunter Hess, the skier?
Yeah.
Just a week or two ago, talking about his country before performing for his country. And by the way, we pay to fly him over there, put him up in luxury accommodations, give him all this gear, all this equipment, and pay him to ski jump. Is that what he is? Find out what sport. I don't know. Believe me, I was not watching this a-hole in Italy perform. But here he is talking about America before we went out there and performed for America.
It brings up mixed emotions to represent the U.S. right now, I think. It's a little hard. There's obviously a lot going on that I'm not the biggest fan of, and I think a lot of people aren't. If it aligns with my moral values, I feel like I'm representing it. Just because I'm wearing the flag doesn't mean I represent everything that's going on in the U.S. So yeah, I just kind of want to do it for my friends and my family and the people that support me getting here.
Oh, God. Brings me mixed emotions that the Trump administration's enforcing the law and arresting rapists and murderers. It hurts my tummy. Oh, screw you, Hunter Hess. He said the last 2 weeks were the hardest in his life after President Trump attacked him. Yes, attacked you. You started it, punk.
He was a freestyle skier.
Freestyle skier, by the way, he finished 10th. So maybe he was distracted because, it was so hard to go over there knowing people on social media were saying bad things about him. Compare that punk to this great patriot, Jack Hughes. Here is perhaps the greatest post-game interview in Olympic history. God, you just cannot love, you just have to love this guy. Go ahead.
This is all about our country right now. I love the USA. I love my teammates. It's unbelievable. The USA Hockey Brotherhood is so strong, and we had so much support from ex-players. I'm so proud to be American today.
This was such an incredible game to grind out. I mean, you're bleeding right through it just looking at you right now. Can you just talk about how difficult this gold medal was to win?
Unbelievable game by Hellebuck. He was our best player tonight by a mile. Unbelievable game. Unreal game by our team. That's just a ballsy, gutsy win. That's American hockey right there. That's a great Canadian team, but we're USA. We're so proud to be Americans. Tonight was all for the country.
What does this gold medal mean to USA Hockey?
It's everything. Like I said, the USA Hockey Brotherhood means so much. Look at these guys. We're such a team. We've been together for 2 weeks. We're such a team. The USA Hockey Brotherhood is so strong, and we're so proud to win for our country.
Is it that hard? Hunter Hess, is it that hard? Eileen Gu, did you say, yeah, I love playing for this country. I love this country. It's the best country on earth. I guess Eileen Gu can't say that because she skis for China. She stood on the medal stand and sang the Chinese national anthem. That person's going to go back home to California with, the 23 million she was paid by China and just live here in this great country. She's not going to China for whom she performed. No, she's coming back to the United States. But Hughes was just one. That was just one moment. That was the beginning of this incredible celebration. And just watch this and picture, pick your favorite liberal, pick whoever, Joe Scarborough or George Stephanopoulos or Liz Warren or Ayanna. Picture any liberal, Jamel Hill, watching this. There is nothing that we've ever seen that triggered the libs quite like this. By the way, let's remember the last time we saw American public official drinking, in a foreign country. That'd be Chris Van Hollen, Senator Chris Van Hollen, having margaritas with an MS-13 gangbanger who beat his wife and trafficked human beings. That was fine with Democrats. This, Kash Patel chugging a beer. Kash Patel is a big hockey guy, played hockey his whole life, loves hockey. Here is Kash Patel in the middle of the celebration. And what makes it even better, they sing Red, White, and Blue, the Toby Keith, the great Toby Keith song, the anthem from the late Toby Keith. They sing that while our FBI director is guzzling, what is that, a Miller Lite. What's he got there? I can't
I don't know.
tell.
I know that the team was drinking mostly Coronas and weird bottles, so I don't know if that's one of them.
Yeah, there's another where Quinn Hughes is at a press conference. Someone's asking a question, and he signals, "I need another beer. Bring me another beer." These guys are so genuine. Hockey guys, of course, are the best guys. I've dealt with a lot of them, and people ask me that all the time. Who's the best guys? Baseball, football. It's not even close. Hockey guys, because the way they grow up. I mean, they're usually the most humble, and the best guys are the toughest. The brawlers, the fighters, the goons are always, invariably good guys, just nice guys. These guys, this is so real. There's nothing phony. We're so used to watching phonies, watching LeBron James. I'll get to him, and others just fake. This is so genuine. And here is Kash Patel. God, I hope this thing continues to go viral, because you just picture in the newsroom at the New York Times at NBC watching this in a rage, just turning red with hate for this man. Watch. Brought to you courtesy of the red, white, and blue. That is perfect. All pointing up at the flag, and Kash Patel wearing a gold medal. He didn't put it on. Someone put it on and put the gold medal on him. And then Kash gets his phone out. This is so great. Gets his phone out, puts here's Kash Patel posting on X. When was this? 8:00 last night. It says, for the very concerned media, yes, I love America and was extremely humbled when my friends, the newly minted gold medal winners on Team USA, invited me into their locker room to celebrate this historic moment with the boys. Greatest country on earth and greatest sport on earth. You know what? I'm not the biggest hockey guy. I would never say it's the greatest sport, but when the pressure is on, when it's a 1-goal game, when it's an overtime game, when there's a gold medal on the line, there is nothing better. There's nothing better in sports than pressure hockey, because these guys, they just leave it all out on the ice. There's just no load management. There's no tanking. They just bleed, literally bleed for that chance to score that goal. Jack Hughes took a stick in the face.
I was going to say he started that game with all his teeth, and that photo you saw was in the third period.
And not only did he not leave the game, he didn't act like he even noticed. It didn't slow him down a bit. He did that interview, if you're just listening, with broken teeth and bloody lip. And you know what I did later on last night? I put on the Celtics-Lakers game, and it was just, unfortunately for them, it was on the same day. And the difference couldn't have been, and I understand it's not a playoff game, it's not a championship game, but these guys were just mailing it in, and tanking. I don't know if they're tanking or they're just trying not to get hurt, but it was just lifeless. The game was Celtics-Lakers on a Sunday night, and there was no energy, no intensity. And you're looking at LeBron James flopping, and you're saying that doesn't happen with Jack Hughes in the U.S. Olympic team. I mean, I know there's some faking flopping when they get hit in the face in hockey, but there was nothing fake about this. He left his chiclets on the ice, and it didn't slow him down. He comes back out and scores the game winner. There's that picture again. God, it's just so iconic. Big smile, missing teeth, bloody lip, flag draped over him, just fist in the air. That is such a perfect photo. Let's get to the phone call, because this is pretty great, too. Trump, as I've said many times, he's really good at this part of the job. You watch this and you say, could Joe Biden even do this? Could Kamala Harris even? Of course not. They couldn't do it. They wouldn't. Kamala would have a script. Joe Biden he wouldn't hold the phone up to his face. I mean, it would be a disaster. But Kash Patel gets Trump on the line, and Trump invites the guys to the State of the Union, and it sounds to me like they're all in. Check it out.
Watch 1 minute. 1 minute. And by the way, your goalie played not bad.
Say hi to him.
How you doing, Don? I have seen hockey goalies have slightly worse games. It's unbelievable, and you were all unbelievable. And that team is pretty good you played. I don't know if we'll ever get anytime soon, right? And, I tell you what, I just told my people 2 minutes ago, I didn't know they'd be calling. I said, we're giving the State of the Union speech on Tuesday night. I could send a military plane or something. But if you would like to, it's the coolest night. It's the biggest.
We're in.
Yeah.
Can you pick us up in Miami on Tuesday morning?
Yeah, Tuesday morning. Go to northern border. We'll get cash and we'll get the military to get you guys over.
Okay, I'm going to go. Let's go.
Boys are going to the State of the Union. The nice thing about being president is I can tell you, you don't have to worry about the weather or landing. So we don't care if it's snowing, if it's the worst blizzard, we sail into that sugar just like you did in the ice.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Now, we'll do it at the White House anytime. What would really be cool, and we'll do the White House the next day, we'll just have some fun. We have medals for you guys. And we have to, I must tell you, we're going to have to bring the women's team. You do know that.
We're going to have to bring the women's team too. Yes, bring the women's team too. That was a pretty dramatic moment, but I believe the first time ever the U.S. won gold in men and women, and they were both dramatic. They both beat Canada, and afterwards it was just, it was painful watching Canada get their silver medals and their stuffed animals. I'm not sure whose idea it was to give them stuffed animals while they're giving medals during the ceremony, but there wasn't one guy who didn't look at that stupid stuffed animal with disgust and just want to throw it in the stands. Some of the photos and the video went viral. Nathan McKinnon, by the way, kind of bitter. He didn't want the stupid stuffed animal. He said the better team, everyone knows who the better team was. And again, I agree with him. He's right. I watched this game. Yeah. Good luck living this down, Nathan. Here's a photo of McKinnon with a chance to win the gold medal. A net doesn't get more wide open than that, Nate. It just doesn't. And you missed the net. That there were people posting that with pictures of the ball going through Buckner's legs and other famous chokes. That's up there. And he pointed out, and again, he's getting killed. He's getting raped for saying the better team didn't win. But he's right. So what? You lost. If you're better and you lost, that's worse. That makes it worse. All right. It doesn't make it better. You guys had more stars. You guys were faster. You guys had a lot more shots. I believe it was 42-28. You had a lot more chances. But Connor Hellebuck was spectacular. And in they had the Canadian, no kidding, what a disastrous Olympics for Canada. They are going to be known for what? For losing 2 gold medal games and cheating in curling. That's what they're going to be remembered for. And as many people pointed out, if Jack Hughes played for Canada, by the way, he lived there as a kid. That's why he has a little bit of a Canadian accent. If he played for Canada, he'd be getting euthanized today because they do that for broken teeth. God, it was just such a great, such a good patriotic moment. And I saw this the moment Hughes scored. I said, there are libs. I'm not saying every Democrat or every media member, but there are libs everywhere who are crushed, who did not want the U.S. to win because they knew it was coming. They knew it was going to be a great show of patriotism, and bars and arenas all over the country are going to be waving the flag and singing Toby Keith, and they hate that. Here's just a couple of examples. Do we have the Huffington Post got this This was just so predictable. I understand that everyone in Europe and Canada, everyone in the rest of the world was rooting against us, which makes it even sweeter. This is an actual post from the Huffington Post, a far left rag or far left website. They tweet, if waving the American flag and chanting USA turns you off, you're not alone. It turns you off to hear people chant USA and wave the flag? Well, good luck tomorrow night, Huffington Post, because Trump's going to introduce these guys, and you're going to hear at least one side of the aisle chant USA. So
the subtitle at the bottom is, there's a reason you feel yucky watching the Olympics right now.
Is that real? I thought that was, that's real. There's a reason you feel yucky watching the Olympics. Yucky? You know what? That's how they feel when they see Trump. They just feel yucky. They're like children. They're like a little emotional children. It turns them off to see the flag and hear people chant USA. That is so telling right there. That's what, Democrats are not happy that their country won gold and their countrymen celebrated and with real euphoria and waved the flag and sang a song. And here's Jamel Hill. You knew this was coming. This was so predictable. Jamel Hill, perhaps the most bitter, miserable race hustler in all the media. She writes, the Trump administration's actions, particularly as it relates to ICE, forced some Winter Olympic athletes into an awkward position. How do you represent a country that presently doesn't represent you? And she says she's got a column on this in the Atlantic. Can you imagine reading that? Imagine reading that drivel from this angry race baiter that she's can't root for a country because the federal government is arresting violent, illegal alien criminals. Okay, sure. Did you root for your country when Joe Biden let them in? when he let in 15, 20 million illegals? Was it easy to root for your country then? But Trump's trying to get them out and you're having trouble rooting for your country? Oh, these people, it is a great dividing line. It really is. If you don't love this picture we're looking at again of the team, real smiles, just joy on all their faces with Johnny Gaudreau's two kids and his jersey. If you don't get little tingles up your spine looking at this, then there's something wrong with you. You and the Huffington Post and Jamel Hill can suck it. You lost. Canada lost and you lost and the USA won, and get ready because tomorrow night it will continue. Yes, tomorrow night, Trump. And by the way, he's doing a great job right now. He's got a ceremony going on at the White House to honor angel families, people who've lost loved ones, family members to illegal aliens, crime, murder. He had Laken Riley's mom up there. Just bring tears to your eyes. But this is important. The Trump administration has to take every opportunity to remind people why they're doing what they're doing, why he was elected, why ICE is rounding up violent, illegal alien criminals. If that wasn't a good enough for a reminder, Trump bringing up Laken Riley's mom and talking about all the victims. How about yesterday in Mexico, yesterday in Puerto Vallarta? Is that a good reminder? The people who are blowing up buildings and shooting cops in Mexico, and the reason Americans are hunkered down in their hotels just hoping to get a flight out is because of cartel members, violent cartels that look like the actual military. Those are the kind of people who came into our country for 4 years. Those are the kind of people who walked into America, cartel members, military age vet men, violent men. Biden just let them in. And now because their kingpin got killed by cops, they're tearing their country apart. And those same people, those people got rich trafficking people into our country. And now they're acting up in Mexico and reminding us why we had to close the border. We'll get to that. We'll get to more, but we got to get to Mamdani. I want to see how it's going. Yes, Mamdani, this is incredible. Offered people, I think it was $28 an hour to volunteer to shovel in New York City. That's how things are going. It's another reminder. Communists don't know how to govern. They don't know how to manage. We have the same problem in Boston. We have an ideologue, a radical leftist ideologue who doesn't know how to govern. I mean, they know how to, they know how to they know how to celebrate diversity. They know how to, stack their administration with racists and ideologues, but they don't know how to govern. They don't know how to remove snow. So Mamdani came up with an idea. Let's get people to show up with their shovels and give them a couple bucks, but they need an ID. Yes. So in New York, you need an ID, 2 IDs, to shovel, but not to vote. That's where we are. We'll get to that. And the most incredible quote, comment, clip from Gavin Newsom. And I have to ask, will this end the Gavin Newsom for president campaign? We'll get to that and more, but first.
Excuse me.
You don't always realize how bad your sheets have gotten until you finally replace them. If your sheets are piling, thinning, slipping, or overheating, that's your sign that it's time to upgrade to Boland Branch. Boland Branch's signature sheets are made from 100% organic cotton and designed to hold their shape, stay breathable, and feel luxuriously soft night after night. You'll fall asleep faster, stay comfortable all night, and actually notice the difference the moment you get into bed. And they don't wear out. They get softer after every wash. The fastest and simplest way to upgrade your sleep is replacing your sheets. It's a one-time upgrade that pays off every single night. No setup, no habit building, no guesswork, just noticeably better sleep. They're buttery soft from the start, get softer over time, and help you relax the moment you lie down. You'll notice the Boland Branch difference immediately. Boland Branch sheets are made from moments of unmatched comfort. This is sleep you don't compromise on. We got our new Boland Branch sheets, and I can tell you, I enjoy going to bed. Didn't know I needed them, but I love my new Boland Branch sheets. Sleep sound with Boland Branch. Get 15% off your first order plus free shipping at bolandbranch.com/Jerry. Code word Jerry. That's Boland Branch, BOLLAND branch.com/Jerry. Code word Jerry to unlock 15%. Exclusions apply. It is snowmageddon in the Northeast, expecting, estimates go from like 1 to 3 feet. It is a massive blizzard. Everyone's hunkering down because that's what you do. Flights, if you got a flight, forget it. I mean, you can't even walk anywhere. Everybody is trapped inside because of climate change. Yes, we are getting walloped, and it's a test for governors and mayors. This is the nitty gritty of the job, removing trash, removing snow, filling the potholes. That's the job. Well, it used to be. That's supposed to be the job. But now you have these crazy, radical Marxist mayors across America who are in there. They're there to change the world. That's why Mayor Wu from Boston was in Munich last week, with her fellow travelers, Hillary Clinton and AOC. The mayor of Boston thinks it was necessary to go to a foreign policy conference in Munich. But today, they have a real challenge, removing a foot or two of snow and keeping their cities running, and they suck at this. As you will see, there was a storm, 2 weeks ago, at least in Boston. They haven't removed that snow yet. We still have traffic clogged, just huge snowbanks and a real problem. But it's going to get worse. And I couldn't believe this was real. Mamdani calling for volunteers to help shovel. He, again, is asking for a budget of $127 billion, more than the state of Florida. I think 3 or 4 times or twice the size of Tokyo's budget. And he's not doing it for snow removal or trash removal or better roads and bridges. He's doing it so he can stack his administration full of other communists, no white people. They no. A lot. They're going to have more diversity in New York City. That's where that's where your tax money's going. It ain't going to remove the snow. But here he is asking for volunteers, and listen closely on why he needs you to bring an ID. Go ahead.
There's been this controversy over the snow laborers and the sort of what some see as onerous need to have documentation. Can you just talk about if that's new and what you make of the controversy?
This is all long-standing. This is a long-standing program and long-standing requirements, and this is a way that New Yorkers get paid to shovel snow in assistance with the city's response to a winter storm event. Federal law requires that employers get authorization and documentation to pay people for their work. We are not allowed to just cut checks to individuals for their work. And these are the policies that we've had in place, but I understand that for many, it's the first time that they've ever heard about it.
Whoa, wait, I think I just heard him say federal law requires him to check IDs. Since when does this commie care about federal law? Hell, he says every day that he's not going to cooperate with ICE, that he wants $1.2 billion in his budget for illegal aliens, and he wants to Trump-proof his administration. Those federal laws, he doesn't like those. Federal laws against illegal aliens, roaming free killers and rapists and drug dealers. Those federal laws, he doesn't like those, so he's not going to follow those. But now there's a federal law saying they have to check IDs before they pay people to shovel. We're waiting to see. I've been checking. I want to know how many people show up to shovel, show up with a shovel and 2 forms of ID. This is going to be good. It's going to be a disaster in New York because not only are communists not good at this, they don't care about that. They don't care about the day-to-day. This is what, you want to be an ideologue. You go to the Senate or you go teach at an Ivy League school. You don't try to run a city. Running a city is day-to-day work. The guy's never held a job. He doesn't want to work. He just wants to fundamentally transform New York City. I got another question. All those videos that we keep playing of all the Muslims praying in Times Square, blocking traffic, are those folks going to volunteer to shovel? You think you'll get a lot of those Mamdani voters to show up and shovel? I doubt it. I'm not sure who homeless people that haven't yet frozen to death are those people.
You at least won't see the men because they believe that's women's work.
I want to see somebody show up with a shovel and not have an ID and have them say, sorry, we can't break federal law, because these same people tell you it's racist. I can't believe we have a mayor in New York City who's not only racist, but he's a misogynist. What if a woman got married and changed her name? Is she not allowed to shovel? What if some poor African-American couldn't get an ID, didn't know where the DMV was? Is he not allowed to shovel? This is just cruel and racist and oppressive. I can't believe we're tolerating it in our biggest city. Let's get to Gavin Newsom, which brings us to Gavin Newsom. By the way, over the weekend, Bernie Sanders and Gavin Newsom both parroted the lie that they couldn't find their birth certificate, so they wouldn't be able to vote. Well, 2 things. Well, you didn't try very hard, because as soon as Gavin Newsom said this, people online found his birth certificate. They literally got online in the state of California, paid the money, and got the birth certificate. That's all you have to do. And secondly, why do you need a birth certificate? You're already registered to vote. All you need is a photo ID now, Gav. That's it. You liar. Bernie, you're just a liar. You know you can vote. You know this isn't asking too much. And they act like that asking people to put a little effort into finding ID to prove they're a citizen is just too much. Just let them vote. How about no? How about no? You have to prove you're a citizen to vote. That's all. That's what every country in Europe does. That's what most of the world does. Requires you to prove you're a citizen to vote. That's all. That's all we're asking. But they're digging in their heels and they're fighting hard for the 15% of the American who doesn't think you should have to show an ID to vote. Good luck with that. But I'm not sure Gavin Newsom is still a viable candidate. I know the standards are really, really low. The bar's low in the Democrat Party, But here is Gavin Newsom in perhaps the most incredible clip from this fool. I mean, he's just a phony, you know? If Trump proved one thing, it's that authenticity matters. People forgive the dumb things he sometimes says or posts, and they just say, he's just being real. That's it. They had that event, Black History Month event at the White House the other day, and the woman, the grandma who defended him, just said, let him do his thing. He's being real. He's being himself. Gavin Newsom doesn't even know who he is. He's just such a prepackaged fabrication. He lies about his upbringing, says it was tough. He had to grow up on mac and cheese. He grew up fabulously wealthy. They just sold his childhood home, $3.6 million. His father was a lawyer for the Getty family. He was not working class. He was not middle class. He was not upper middle class. He was upper. He was fabulously affluent. Anyway, that's a lie. By the way, Dana Bash at CNN interviewed him, and she said, you know, people who are living paycheck to paycheck, like your mom, so they're playing into this made-up narrative that he's working class. Anyway, you knew that was coming, but here he is talking about himself and trying to relate to a Black audience. As Jesse Kelly pointed out, there is nothing funnier than a rich white guy, Democrat, trying to connect with African-American voters, with African-American people. It is just so blatantly fake and phony. Here's how he relates to him. He says he can't read. Yes, I think I got that right. Check it out.
I'm not trying to impress you. I'm just trying to impress upon you. I'm like you. I'm no better than you. You know, I'm a 960 SAT guy. And I'm not trying to offend anyone, trying to act all there if you got 940. But literally a 960 SAT guy. I cannot, you've never seen me read a speech because I cannot read a speech. Maybe the wrong business to be in.
Unbelievable. And again, it's the Democrat Party, so he'll survive. He's I'd say their leading candidate. And he's looking at a Black guy saying, I'm just like you. I'm a 960. How does he even know what that guy got on his? Maybe that guy's a genius. He doesn't know. He's bragging. He knows that a rich white guy is an underdog in the Democrat primary. And so he's painting this picture that he's not smart and he can't read. And he's trying to do that so he could connect and relate to a Black audience. That is incredible. That ends the career of some politicians. Probably not him, but the competition is, shall we say, a little lacking. I would say Kamala Harris, for the most part, is hiding. And AOC is self-destructing. As we know, last week, AOC went to Munich and just face planted. You've heard all the clips, thought Venezuela was below the equator, couldn't handle a simple question about Taiwan, something you should have memorized, but couldn't even fake it. She was so dumbfounded when asked about Taiwan. Again, this is a conference for world leaders about foreign policy, and she is planning to run for president or vice president or maybe Senate. But she's a lot of talk about her being on the ticket. I believe she's third in most of the polls behind Kamala and Newsom. So she decides to go on a late night, Instagram rant. She's got no voice. Somebody is passing gas in the background. I'm not sure if it's her husband or her dog. Tries to explain that she's really smart. So you got two competing narratives. Newsom's trying to convince you he's not smart. And AOC is trying to convince you that she is smart. This is unbelievable. Listen to this. Her voice is shot, which is okay. I have no ill will toward anybody who's struggling with their voice, but check this out.
If you think that I don't understand foreign policy because out of hours of discourse about international affairs, I pause to think about one of the most sensitive geopolitical issues that currently exist on Earth, I'm afraid the issue is not my understanding, but rather the problem is perhaps you've gotten adjusted to a president that never thinks before he speaks.
What time was that, Ironhead? What time she post that? Find out. And who told her that was a good idea? Who told her? You know, she looks like she got up after going to bed and made this speech like in the middle of the night, or made this Instagram post in the middle of the night. Didn't go well. A lot of people speculating that she had a little buzz on, which is, you know, fine, but I don't think she convinced a lot of people that she really knows what the U.S. should do if China attacks Taiwan. I mean, couldn't she have just said, I don't know, let me work on that. I'm focused on domestic issues. I mean, there's a million things she could have said. Instead, she just rambled incoherently, and I don't think it helped her candidacy. All right, we got so much more to get to. I want to get to this. One of the greatest man on the street interviews ever with a Maine teacher who is the perfect example of an affluent white female liberal who wants to bring murderers back into this country. And the Somalis in Minnesota apparently think they haven't gotten enough from you, the taxpayer, haven't gotten enough in welfare and SNAP and fraud. They want more. They want reparations because of what ICE has done to their neighborhood. We'll get to that and more, but first.
Excuse me.
A well-built wardrobe is about pieces that work together and hold up over time. That's what Quince does best. Premium materials, thoughtful design, and everyday staples that feel easy to wear and easy to rely on, even as the weather shifts. Quince has the everyday essentials I love with quality that lasts. Organic cotton sweaters, polos for every occasion, lighter jackets that keep you warm in the changing seasons. The list goes on. Quince works directly with top factories and cuts out the middleman, so you're not paying brand markup, just quality clothing. Everything is built to hold up to daily wear and still look good season after season. Plus, they only partner with factories that meet rigorous standards for craftsmanship and ethical production. I got a couple of Quince shirts, and I'm telling you, I love them. They were inexpensive, and I'm a cheap bastard, so that matters. And they've held up really well after a few washes, good as new. So refresh your wardrobe with Quince. Go to quince.com/Jerry for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada, too. That's Quince, QUINCE.com/Jerry. Free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/Jerry. You see a lot of these online guys doing the interviews on the street with dumb, vapid Democrats who think ICE is evil and Trump is a dictator and all that crap. Yes, a dictator who was once again stopped by the Supreme Court, the judiciary, which, I was told was in his back pocket. But they ruled against him on tariffs, and Democrats are flipping again, saying, good Supreme Court, good job. But here's a guy, see if you get this guy's name. He is really good. He's deadpan. He goes out and pretends that he's got a petition to get a deported illegal alien, mass murderer, to get this petition to bring him back into this country. That's the goal. He's got literally pen and paper saying, sign here to bring this monster back into our country. And of course, the gray-haired liberal lady from Maine, I mean, this is like a caricature, says, I'm in, let's sign, watch this.
We're trying to bring back illegal immigrants who were deported by ICE. We're with the Bring Them Back campaign. Could we get your signature for our petition? We just need your name and email address. Specifically, we're trying to bring back Edwin Hernandez from El Salvador.
Yeah.
We do have to disclose to you, though, that he is an admitted member of MS-13, and he did kill 5 people back in El Salvador, but we think he deserves a second chance, and we want to get him back. That's him right there. What do you guys think about what's going on with ICE in this country?
Oh, it's appalling, I guess, is maybe not even a strong enough word. So,
Appalling?
yeah, we're from Maine. There's been a lot of ICE activity in Maine.
Up in Portland, right?
Yeah, up in Portland. Yeah,
Heard
that's
about
where
that.
we live. Yeah. So, I'm a teacher, and there were lots of students that were afraid to come to school.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Hopefully we can get Edwin Hernandez back.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have to be criminally convicted in El Salvador, right?
Yes. All right.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. And they think it's real. The husband is a cuck, as you'd expect. I mean, that couple is just perfect. She's like, yeah, it's appalling what they're doing. And she signs and gives her email address. His name is Matt Miller, the guy who did the interview, and he's so good at Politibrawl. He does these interviews, and he just pulls it off perfectly. Yeah, let's bring Edwin back. He murdered 5 people, but deserves a second chance. That's who we're dealing with. That's who's trying to stop ICE. That is just so good. An MS-13 killer. Bring him back. Let's bring him back. Let's bring all those cartel guys who are burning down Puerto Vallarta. Let's bring them back. Open the border again so they can come back into this country. Good idea. I don't know. I think we'd be better off getting them out. All right, let's get to Minneapolis. Hey, we all wonder, what are they doing? Nick Shirley went there, more than a month ago, a while ago, 6 weeks ago, exposed billions in fraud. It's all documented, and yet we haven't seen any arrests, or we've seen a couple, but not enough. We haven't seen any mass deportation. Hell, they're drawing down their efforts to some extent in Minneapolis. I hope we're not just going to move on from this. I mean, Tim Walz is still governor. He's still the governor overseeing the greatest fraud in American history, at least $9 billion, probably much more. And yet he's still governor. Jacob Frey, still mayor. Frey's in D.C. for the, whatever it is, counter protest of the State of the Union. But check this out. If you didn't have enough contempt for these parasites who came here and got on welfare, and that wasn't enough, so they had to commit fraud and steal billions and buy Mercedes and buy land and buy houses with daycares with no kids and transportation companies with no customers. We've seen it in detail, and yet they feel emboldened enough to point out that they need to be made whole after what ICE did in their neighborhood. Yes, ICE went in, removed criminals, and they think because of that, they deserve reparations. Now, this is hard to understand because, again, she hasn't taken the time to learn why are they even holding press conferences? Why do we even give them airtime?
They're too stupid to realize that doing this is just going to bring more attention and not help them in any way.
You know what it does? It just highlights the point that they're here to take. That's all. They're not here to assimilate or build a better life. They're here because they know we're an easy mark, particularly in blue cities and blue states, and they're here to take. They go before the camera. Some of these people probably participated in these fraud schemes, and they don't care. They don't feel any fear. They're not worried about getting deported. They're looking to get more, take more. Listen to this lady.
Leave programs fits into our criteria of small business owners, not those who make $200,000 and above. We don't make that much amount. We have been suffering since the crisis of ICE. We also demand an immediate help to evictions so families are not pushed to homelessness during the crisis. Our community deserves accountability. Our community deserves safety. We need also justice for those who lost their lives defending the community.
Who lost their life? Renee Good and Alex Preddy. They're in her community? I don't know. That's not just a good case for mass deportations, but for outlawing cousin marriage. What do you think? I think it's probably time because
I couldn't hear over a front teeth hitting the microphone.
I'm pretty sure she can get free dental care from Waltz's Minneapolis. I don't know why she hasn't taken advantage of that benefit. I guess they just want cash. If you couldn't understand her, they want reparations for what ICE did in their neighborhood. And I mean, again, it's one thing to think that, but to go in front of the cameras and say it, do we need to see more? They just want to just keep taking, just keep defrauding, just keep bilking and fleecing us. It's got to end at some point. It's got to end. But it's never going to end as long as you have people like that awful gray-haired lady from Maine saying, yeah, let's bring back the murderers. You watch what's happening in Mexico right now and you think, let's open the border again. Let's go back to the way it was under Joe Biden, where people like that could walk into our country. Just, all right, we'll leave it there. We're looking forward to tomorrow night. This is going to be a good one. Trump is pretty good at these State of the Unions, but he's going to have some of these angel moms, angel families. Democrats will sit on their hands. He's going to have the gold medal teams, both teams, men and women, I guess. Everyone will cheer for that. We'll get to see how drunk the Hughes brothers are.
Yeah, it's going to pan over during the State of the Union. He's going to be pointing at one like he wants another.
They're going to be sucking down like Coors Lights or something. Can you get that tweet from the climate group before we go? As you sit here today, if you're in the Northeast, you are being buried in snow, like 2 feet, 3 feet, some places just crippled. This is an actual tweet from an organization called Climate Power. An actual tweet from an actual organization that fights climate change or fights whatever made up climate change. It pushes the hoax.
Climate Power.
Climate Power. They posted this morning with a picture of a blizzard, people buried in snow. Climate change isn't just extreme heat and rising temperatures. It's this too. Yes, this is climate change. So, you know what?
Well, notice they stopped saying global warming.
Yeah, this is not global warming. This is climate change. There are people out there who still buy this nonsense. You know, we've done a lot of good. It's come in the first year in the Trump administration. Obviously, the war against DEI continues. It's going to be tough in these blue cities, but just putting to bed this whole climate nonsense is important. We don't need a whole generation growing up thinking a blizzard is caused by their Honda Pilot or their plastic straws. We have to bring an end to that too. So keep that in mind. There are people who are going to try to sell this storm as climate change. Everything's climate change. I broke the yolk. My eggs this morning, climate change. I just broke a fingernail. Damn, climate change. Everything is climate change. All right, that will do it for today. This glorious Monday. This is a great day. Doesn't it still feel like you got a little buzz off yesterday? Just a little high.
That was amazing.
Not like AOC, but got a little high on that sporting event. It was just
high like AOC, maybe.
I mean, it was. I kept my my remote in my bed and rolled over at 8 a.m. or 8:30, 8:20, and put on the game. And that one Olympic gold medal game, I'm just going to say it, is the most intense sporting event there is. Period. There is nothing like it, and I love the Ryder Cup, and I love the Super Bowl. And when one goal can decide your legacy forever, when one goal can do for you what it did for Jack Hughes, what it did for Collar Hellebuck, it is just the pressure is unmatched. There's no pressure like it in sports, and that's what makes it so riveting. It's not the sport. It's the pressure. It's the stakes. It's the legacy that's on the line. And it's going to take a while for Nathan McKinnon to live that down. And Jack Hughes will ride this wave for the rest of his life. Congrats once again to all the champions, the Americans, Jack Hughes and Quinn Hughes and Connor Hellebuck and Kash Patel, all the guys who laid it on the line on the ice. What did Patel? Did he assist on that goal?
I don't know, but he would definitely have to wring out his shirt after that celebration.
You're going to see today all the Democrats on all the cable shows online are just infuriated looking at Kash Patel, and he, he's like his boss. He just doesn't give a damn. He has no more F's to give. That will do it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I'm Gerry Callahan. This is the Callahan Show. And we will do it again tomorrow.
Up behind the net. And it's Werenski. Now Jack Hughes pokes it around McCarr. United States with numbers. Back across it comes. Jack Hughes wins it. The golden goal for the United States. For the first time since the 1980 miracle, the United States takes the goal.